Hey, today I'm here with Travis Marziani. He has developed a passion product that he sells on Amazon. This month he's going to sell about $50,000 of his passion product. This is something he gets. This guy tells me he can barely sleep. He's so excited to work on his product. So we're going to walk through and he can actually tell us his product and show us his steps on how he did this. So he's essentially done what we've talked about on this channel before, which is innovating a product, but he did it in just an incredible way. There's the innovation and the market research this guy did. I love it. I love it. So he's also a YouTuber. We'll link to his YouTube below. Tell us about yourself, man, because this is a crazy story.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I think my story is somewhat similar to your story. I had a corporate job. Had that for about 2 years, and about 6 years ago, I quit that job. Before I quit it, I was falling into like a pretty deep depression because it was just I hated the idea of the harder I worked, I make the same amount of money. Like it's just salary, right? And so I found out about, I read the 4-Hour Workweek, and I found out about this e-commerce world. So I quit my job pretty much cold turkey after, getting pretty depressed for a while.
Really?
And yeah, I can dive into it, but it was like the universe was like sucking.
You didn't have a business set up.
No, I didn't have a business set up. I had an idea.
YOLO.
Yeah,
jumped off the building.
My job, I was making decent money at my job, to be fair. And so I felt like I was saving up money, but for no particular reason. I was saving up this money, and I'm like, well, what am I doing? I don't want to buy a house. I don't want to settle down somewhere. Like I want to go travel, and I don't want to have someone telling me, hey, you can take 2 weeks off a year. If I want to take 3 months off a year, that's fine. I want to be able to front load. I want to work hard for a while so I can do whatever I wanted to. Quit my job, cold turkey. I was going to conquer the world. And my first company was a dance clothing company. We manufacture and sell dance clothing. Yeah. And I thought this is it, and I've been doing that. I still have that company. I've been doing that since I quit, about 6 years. But man, it's a grind. And what I realized is when you're trying to sell something, for me personally, when I'm trying to sell something I don't believe in, that I don't care about, I can do it. I can make some money. But then I had this idea for my nut butter company. It's a macadamia coconut cashew blended nut butter. It was something that I wanted. I was looking at the market and I said, man, there's, almond butter, there's peanut butter, there's almond butter, but what about like the really high quality nuts? Like there should be a nut butter made out of that. And on top of that, the marketing should be towards people like me, because all the marketing of the nut butter companies was towards moms and kids. And I don't see some hardcore athletes saying, yeah, I want to have Jiffy's, peanut butter before I go on a marathon. So I made a company, my company's called Performance Nut Butter, that is geared towards athletes, the branding, the images, everything for that. And since then I launched that, and within probably 2 months, I hit my goal, my income goal. It's because since I quit my job, my goal is to be making $10K a month, passive income. Like I could lay on the beach all day long making that. And within 2 months of the actual launch of my product, I was finally doing that, and it blew me away. So now, obviously I'm trying to grow my company, but on my YouTube channel and the podcast, I'm trying to help other people create their own passion products. So that's my story in a nutshell.
So it sounds like even though it's a passion product, you did market research and you had a reason why you were coming into the space.
Oh, 100%. So keep in mind, like I said, I've been doing e-commerce for 5 years before I even launched this product. I realized that this is something that I want, which is very important, but it's not enough. It's something that I feel like there was a hole in the market. It's also a premium product. I think that's very important. If you're going to sell something, don't try to be the cheapest. Like make the best and sell it accordingly. My product right now is the most expensive product, but it's also the best, at least in my opinion. And
that was a fact.
Yeah, I think so. And then the other thing is, ideally, a product where it's consumable. It doesn't have to be. Like I helped my girlfriend create her own passion product. It's not a consumable product, but it's a very social product. So it has some virality element to it. But there's all these little things where I was going down the checklist and I'm like, man, this meets most of the things for a great business opportunity. Like let's do it. Oh, and it was trending upwards. I don't know how many people have been following the ketogenic diet or know about the ketogenic diet, but if you look on Google Trends, it's like it's blowing up. And so that was helpful that I was able to catch the wave of this trend.
So it's just that's super important. I had some guy come to me tell he wanted to import Italian purses, and I'm like, what's the market look like on Amazon? He's like, oh, I don't know. No, no, don't do that. And so you're hoping to take this. Last year was just a phenomenal year of sales for you, 30 plus K every month. And what are your goals for 2018 with this? Because this is
2019.
something. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Okay, 2019, guys.
Yeah.
So what are your goals for 2019? You sound you want to take this off of Amazon. I mean, this is
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. I mean, my first and biggest goal is 100K revenue month, which in all honesty, I put that as my goal for the year, but my goal is to do that by June, to have 100K month. I gave myself the year just in case, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself because I'm going to the Philippines for the month of March.
He
Go
likes
visit.
the beach. Okay, he's
Yeah, I
out in
enjoy.
LA.
I'm living in Santa
He's in
Monica.
LA. Oh,
I have a lot of friends that
how far are you from the beach?
uh,
3 minute Uber ride?
oh, I mean like a 5-minute bike ride. Yeah. Not a, maybe
That's not even a 3 minute Uber ride.
No, yeah, it's real. It's right there. And that's,
Okay.
I love that. Like to me, quality of life is everything because just like you, I can live like a millionaire. I live better than most millionaires, not in a bragging way, but the truth is most millionaires are stressing all the time. They're trying to run a business, and that's not my goal. My goal is to work hard, but not, I don't like the word grind because I see people that, grinding to me is just like hating life. I want to work really hard and work with purpose, but not hating life, basically. So it's a little bit of that balance.
It sounds like you've done the same thing that anybody teaches to do on Amazon. Just you did it with a product you're very passionate about, which is awesome. But I'm stressing the market research before you go out there and pick something.
Oh, no. That's so actually, I mean, we can get into, basically my formula for creating a passion product, but a big part of it. Yeah. So a big part of it's testing. And I launched this as a Kickstarter before I spent a lot of money on it. Before I did my first production run, I said,
how did that go? Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I'll back up and I'll go to the very beginning. And we talked about this a little bit before, but a big part of it was creating what I call a launch group. So I created a Facebook group. And first off, I added all my friends and family to this group. But more importantly, I created an Instagram account. And before I had a real product, I was showing snippets of a mock-up of what it would look like, my initial beta versions of the product. And I had a link in the bio that says, hey, if you want to get updates plus enter for a chance to win a free jar or a free box of nut butter, click the link, sign up with the email, whatever. And what I did is I interact with these people. They'd sign up and I wouldn't just put them on some kind of automation campaign. I'd actually send them a personal email and say, hey, thanks so much for your interest. And I'd start a conversation with them. What do you do for fun? Tell me more about yourself. So I was doing market research every step of the way. Then I'd get them into the Facebook group. I'd say, join the Facebook group for an extra chance to win free product. Then in there, I would show people the logo and say, what do you guys think? I ran a 99 Designs campaign. I'm like, what do you guys think about these 10 different logos? And they said, this one's the best. And I said, cool. This is the logo we're going to go with. Then I did the design for the box and the packaging. So what do you guys think about this? And I got really good feedback because I wanted it to be black and white. And one of the girls in the group says, that looks terrible. She's like, that doesn't look like food. That looks like motor oil. And so I realized I needed to have colored images of the nuts on the packaging. So then, there's some other things that I did as well. Launched it as a Kickstarter. Raised $15,000 on my Kickstarter, which isn't an insane amount. Like you hear about these crazy amounts, but it was enough for me to know.
That's good.
Yeah, I know that if $15,000 worth of people are willing to spend, they're willing to spend this money and they're not going to get the product for 4 months.
Yeah.
I know once it goes on Amazon, it'll do well. And my first production run was expensive. It was $30,000 because it's hard. You have to do a large volume on something that's as custom as my product.
Yeah.
That's not the case with everything. My girlfriend's first production run for her passion product was like $4,000 or something like that. But anyways, I raised $15,000. I put $15,000 of my own money in, which I know not everybody has, but I've been working in e-commerce for a while. And I said, let's do this. And within 2 months of launching on Amazon, I was hitting $300 a day profit, 10K a month profit. So it was testing every part of the way. Because if I would have went on Kickstarter and I would have only raised $1,000, I would have said, okay, never mind. People said that they were interested, but they weren't willing to put their money where their mouth is. Literally.
How big did you build this Facebook group and this Instagram following?
Yeah, it wasn't huge. That's the funny thing about it. The Facebook group was probably 600 people, which sounds like maybe a lot, but keep in mind, 400 of them probably were friends and family. And one big thing to note is, and the same thing on Instagram, I basically used, I don't know if I'm supposed to admit this, but like a bot that was like would automatically like, comment, and follow people. And so someone would get a comment that's like a thumbs up from Performance Nut Butter. And they'd be like, what the hell is Performance Nut Butter? And if it's the kind of product that they were interested in, they'd go look and they'd say, wow, that's awesome. So
how many followers did you accumulate on there?
On Instagram?
Yeah.
Probably like before I launched, maybe 3,000, nothing crazy, which that might sound like a lot to some people, but a lot of those were probably bots, to be honest, that were just automatically following me back. The big thing was...
So let's say you had 2,400 people total.
Yeah, I don't even think it was that many, to be honest with you.
Okay, let's go $2,000. I mean, so you raised $15,000.
Yeah.
And then you had 2,000 people. It means your average was $7.50. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you probably got some traction on Fiverr, not Fiverr. Kickstarter itself, because that's a lot of money.
Maybe 10% of it was maybe 10% or less was from Kickstarter itself. Okay. So one of the big things I did.
Crazy then.
Yeah. So this is one of the big things I did that I think a lot of people miss this opportunity was I didn't just get this big Instagram, this big Facebook group and email list and just sit around doing nothing. Every few weeks I was updating them. Hey, here's the logo. What do you guys think? I was engaging with them. Here's the package design. We're getting one step closer. Oh my God, launches in a month. Hey, share this video for an extra chance to win free samples. And I'd send out free samples to influencers. I was doing pretty much everything that I could to keep these people entertained. And so one of my favorite stories to tell about this is when I launched it, my girlfriend was sitting next to me. So I told everyone it's going to launch at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday. And my girlfriend was sitting next to me and she wanted to be the first one to buy. So I launched it at like 5:55, like 5 minutes early. And she went to purchase it and she was the 6th person to purchase it, which means that there was 5 other people that were sitting there just refreshing the page, waiting for me to launch it. And keep in mind, they weren't going to get this product for 4 months. It was a Kickstarter. Like I told them that you're not going to get this for 4 months, but they were still so eager to support this that they were refreshing it. And the first person that purchased it was someone I didn't even know. Like I had never talked to them. It was just, they followed my story. So the journey is where it's at.
That is crazy. I'm just taking a moment to soak that in.
Yeah.
Wow. And that is awesome, man. We've talked one time before about a launch group, and this is the perfect situation of it. Holy crap.
Yeah, and I can go in details of, I mean, the launch group was by far, I think, the biggest thing I did for this, but there was other marketing elements, and I can talk about that if you're interested as well.
Other marketing elements? I mean, you said you used influencers. I mean...
Yeah. So I'll tell you a little hack. Funny enough, this in some ways is how I met you. I had a podcast at the time. It was purely just for fun. It was called How to Do Your 20s. It was just like a podcast I did for fun. And what I did is I'd email influencers in the keto space and in the health and fitness space and say, hey, come on my podcast. Like I want to share your message with my audience. And similar to the reason I did it with you is, yeah, I do want to share the message of Adam on my podcast. But more importantly, I wanted to meet you. And it's a lot easier to say, yo, come on my podcast and let's meet than, hey, Adam, can you...
We're going to put a link to the podcast below, by the way.
Yeah, I'd love to. If I were to have emailed you and said, Adam, can we Skype for an hour? You would have said, yeah, sure, $500 or $1,000 or whatever. There's no way you would have even just said no. It's the same thing with these health and fitness people. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's true. And you have, right? Even if you just told me you're a YouTuber, I'd have got on this call with you. Because I didn't know this guy 2 hours ago before this.
Yeah.
But that's the power of building some kind of influence, even if you just have a lot of Instagram followers. Yeah,
and I think the big thing for me was, okay, what's what can I do for other people? And for the influencers I was having on my podcast, I knew that what they wanted was more exposure. So rather than, because if I would have cold emailed them and said, hey, can I send you a free jar of my nut butter? They would have been like, who the hell is this trying to sell me some weird thing in a jar? But after an hour-long conversation,
They're down.
yeah, they're down. Like because the whole conversation was about them. Like I wasn't, and I was, trying to do it as genuine as possible. I'm like,
That's good at marketing, everybody.
yeah. I mean, I hope, that's the thing is like, what can I do? And at the end of the podcast, I'd tell them, here's my idea. I'm coming up with this company. So they knew about it before most people did. What do you think about this product? And 9 out of 10 of them said, that sounds really cool. And I'm like, cool. Can I send you a free sample? And at that point, it'd be pretty awkward for them to say no.
Yeah,
and so, yeah. And once I send them a free sample, it's really easy for them to post about it. I did everything I could to make it as easy for them to post. So that helped as well.
That's smart. It's very smart. And you can do the same thing. That's what I didn't expect from this YouTube channel is the number of people I've been able to meet. You wouldn't get on a call with me if I had 0 subscribers. I wouldn't meet you.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I get emails all the time. I'm sure you do as well from people. They're like, hey, I have some questions and I have this idea. And I'm like, that's great, but you can hire me for consulting, or you have to prove your worth. Like you have to prove that you can, you're going to be helpful as well.
You want to know how to talk to me for free? Let me stumble across your snapshot of you selling 50 grand a month already. If I see that, I've contacted a few of those people and been like, hey, let's get on a call. Like, I brought a couple on the channel.
Yeah.
But that's called proving that's proving your worth.
Absolutely.
So, okay. Guys, I think this is awesome. If you want to check out some of his videos on launching your passion product, I'll put that link below. I mean, he's really just using Amazon as a platform, which is really what we're all doing. But right, I don't sell products that I'm I use every day, but I know a lot of people use them, and that's what gets me excited. But I also don't sell products that I can't understand, that I can't grasp, that I don't like. I like every one of my products. Okay, I might not be the target market. Females are the target market for my two new products, but I'm like, dude, that's cool. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
So there's some of that here too. So
absolutely,
we're gonna put a link to the podcast below. Put a link to his launch your own passion product. Check that out. If you guys want to see my video on how much money I sold on Amazon my very first year and how I was able to quit my job, put a link to that right here. And if you guys want to see how I personally pick my own products with some examples of actual products on Amazon, put a link to that right here. Peace out. We'll see you in the next video.
See you later.